I feel like I haven't seen anyone. I haven't heard of this video at all, and it looks like it could be really good. It's titled How I Escaped MAGA, Critical Thinking Woke Me Up, butterfly emoji, and then emoji that isn't rendering. And the text on the thumbnail says, MAGA destroyed my life, exclamation point. Have you guys seen this? One's if you've seen this, two's if you haven't seen this. This is great. She's great. She's made a long series of videos about it. Oh, some of you guys have seen this. Oh, damn. Okay.
This summer, I took a little video of myself attending a Democratic town hall. Now, this was the first Democratic event that I've ever attended in my entire life, and I just turned 51 years old a couple weeks ago. And the reason it's my first Democratic event is that I was a hardcore Republican for the first 49 years of my life. So I took this little video. I went to see a couple of politicians, including our local mayor and Gabby Gifford, who I've always had so much respect for, her husband, Mark Kelly, and Cory Booker. And it's funny because politics is not something that I normally talk about on my channel at all. But I decided to post this video one day and talk about my journey out of Christian nationalism, white supremacy, Mormonism, and MAGA, and my visit to the Democratic town hall, thinking that not a single person in the world would care. In fact, I expected to get maybe 50 views on that video, again, because it's not my normal topic of conversation. And I didn't realize that leaving MAGA was even a thing. And then I woke up the next morning and realized that it was a thing. And you guys, I really only realized it was a thing because of the number of views. And then I went through YouTube and also Googled ex-MAGA, people leaving MAGA, and realized that that's a talking point that people actually are interested in. So here we are. So I spent the rest of the summer talking about my journey out of my huge alt-right Mormon prepper community that was full of a lot of hate and fear and just mindless obedience to the leaders. My journey out of Christian nationalism, white supremacy, and how I've come to be over here on the other side. And as I share my journey, I get a lot of questions. And obviously the biggest question on everybody's minds is, what made me leave? How did I get to the other side? And I think one of the big reasons you guys asked me that is that you have somebody in your life that has fallen into that crowd. And you're wondering if there's hope for you, and if so, how you can encourage them to wake up and see the light. And maybe you don't have any MAGA people in your life, but you live in America and you're afraid of what's going on and you're hoping that other people like me can change.
I feel like just a sentence. Maybe you don't have anyone who's MAGA in your life, but you live in America. It's like, or I live in the rest of the world.
So today I'm going to dive into my personal story out of MAGA and what prompted it all. I'm Jenny Gage, and
Not
this
the music.
is Life
No.
Take 2. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for following along on this journey. And thank you for all of the conversations that we're having in my comments. I don't always get a chance to respond, but when I'm reading through, it's beautiful to see people thinking and people with opposing viewpoint coming together and discussing. Now, this video has no script. I don't even have my normal bullet points in front of me that I like to work off of, because I just wanted to kind of organically share my story.
By the way, Denims in China, a Chinese streamer, a stream sniper told Hassan that he pulled him out of the alt-right pipeline. That's really funny. That's really funny.
Now, this is going to be a 2-part video series. Tomorrow, I'll post a carefully researched video where I share tips to help people in your life come off of the MAGA ledge and step away from the cult just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Today, I just want to share. And it's really important to point out right from the get-go here that I didn't just wake up one day and decide to leave the Republican Party and Donald Trump. I left everything. And it was actually stepping away from my religion and then stepping away from all religion and everything that I had ever known, literally everything. We'll get into that here. That then, by default, as a side effect, led me to no longer resonate with Donald Trump, with his ideologies, his policy.
I'm so sorry. I feel like such a bitch saying this, but it's almost like religion has been used as a tool to control people for many, many years. Interesting. Interesting. It's almost like organized religion and mega churches are questionable.
And with the MAGA party that had been a huge part of my life as a whole. If you haven't caught some of my other videos, I'll link a couple of them in the description. All I want to say here about my past with MAGA is that it was my entire identity, and I was deeply committed to Donald Trump and to everybody in the Republican Party, to the point that my entire social media page, my Facebook and my Instagram, in my personal life for a long time were just platforms where I could support and promote Donald Trump. I even had Donald Trump as my personal profile picture, and I was constantly writing these little love letter to Trump posts and supporting and promoting him. I was all in. How all in was I? I was as all in as you could possibly be, just short of actually working for Fox News. So first, a little basic background understanding into mind control, high demand religions, and organizations like the Mormon Church and the Maga Party. Because we live in such a melting pot of different ideologies, and my neighbor...
I just want to say, I don't trust any religious leaders that fearmonger. The only religious leaders that I trust, that I would trust to be like in a room alone with, are the religious leaders that say, and by leaders, I'm using that term really broadly. It's a really wide brushstroke. The only ones are the ones that say like, hey, you're not harming anyone. What you do is between you and God. You want to be queer, you want to be, you know, whatever this, you want to be that. That's not my business. That's not my business. Anyone is welcome in this church, in this religious building, whatever it is. And that's between you and God. I will step in when someone else is being harmed, but that's, again, I am not God. I can't speak for God, really. I can speak for what I think, you know, we should be doing, but yeah, that's between you two. It's like, those are the only ones. Those are the only ones that it's like, you know what? You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
Across the street might be a Democrat, and the other one might be a Republican, and somebody else might be a Libertarian. And we might have lesbians and a Catholic priest all like mixed up together. We no longer live in isolated societies where people have very similar ideologies. It's actually really easy to control people when everybody in a tribe believes all the same things. The way we do...
It's like, it's so sad that like this is so basic. It's like, it's so like, okay, no, guys, you know what this is? This is good practice for being less annoying. That's what this is. This is good practice for being less annoying, because I think as leftists, all of us could benefit from being less annoying, and I think it would make our goals more achievable. So our goal is just to be less annoying for this video, because the temptation to be like, yeah, duh, obviously is so strong. Fuck. Okay. Also, Shaitam, I'm sorry that the message didn't read out, but thank you. That's so sweet. Thanks.
Things in America, the way that we're all mixed up like that, means that rather than keeping you inside of that little isolated area, they have to keep your brain controlled. And that's what happened to me. I was born and raised into the Mormon Church, and on my mom's side, we were multi-generational Mormon. So my mom had never known anything but the Mormon Church, and her parents had joined the church quite young. Great-grandparents had joined the church relatively young. So I was born to a family that was deeply devout and really didn't have any outside views. My mom had no idea what it was like to not be a Mormon, and she had been raised very much controlled by her Mormon community. So her number one goal, and the goal of all of my youth leaders...
Low-key, brutal spawn point.
...and college professors and my grandparents...
Thanks, Shaitam.
And my huge, big, extended family, and all of my...
I'm pretty sure she's saying this in an attempt to educate those that are entrenched in MAGA. Well, yeah, this seems like the type of video that you would send, like, your MAGA family members.
Neighbors and seminary teachers and everything was to just keep my little brain in Mormonism. And they did that fairly thoroughly. Mormonism isn't just one of these church on Sunday type of religions where then like maybe you're Catholic and you go to church on Sunday, but your friends are Lutherans and atheists and whatever. As a Mormon, all of my friends were Mormons. All of my family was Mormon. I was only allowed to date Mormon. I wasn't really allowed to go to friends' birthday parties or slumber parties if they weren't Mormon. I lived in a very isolated little Mormon bubble. Mormonism is why I was Christian nationalist, by the way, because the Book of Mormon teaches that God literally made America as a promised land, and that he only brings people to America who are chosen by him, that this land is preserved for his most righteous children. and that we as members of the church were to fight to preserve this nation as not just a Christian nation, but also as a Mormon nation. So Christian nationalism was just a natural outcropping of my religion, to the point that my family and my community mixed America with the gospel like they were both the same. I believed that the Constitution had been written by the hand of God, just like the commandments that Moses, the tablets that he had brought down from Mount Sinai. I believe that the Constitution had been scripted by God just exactly like that. And just like Moses and his people had been brought out of Egypt across the Red Sea, I believed that Christopher Columbus had been led across the ocean to the new promised land by the hand of God. My community was obsessed
I'm trying so hard to not laugh. I'm trying so hard to not be mean. This is so fucked. Oh my God.
Boy Scouts of America and Flag Day and the 4th of July. We always had these huge congregational pancake breakfasts on the 4th of July. And there were patriotic songs right in the hymn book, like God Bless America, like the national anthem. They're sacred songs. So all of those things were my absolute reality. Just like I knew that the sun was going to come up in the morning and the sky was blue and the grass was green, I knew that Heavenly Father had created this beautiful land of America, and that Joseph Smith was true prophet, and that the gospel was true, and the Book of Mormon was a real testament of the Indians who had lived here on the American continent. That stuff was my reality. Part of that reality was also being Republican, and that was because the Democrats tended to lean more towards women's lib, which was a sin according to Mormon doctrine, because the traditional family is the foundation of everything, so only Satan would want women to go out and work. We believed that divorce had started because women started to work, because the Democrats were fine with killing babies, and Democrats had been the ones who had legalized gay marriage.
It's so fucked up because it's like a cult, and it's like they get you when you're young, so like you just accept the premise, but it's so insane. Like you just never stood a chance, man. Like you got like a fucked spawn point where you just got convinced of the most insane shit possible, and because again it happened to you when you were so young. You don't, like, I said this before, when you're a fucking child, you don't know what the fuck is happening. You're like, I don't know, I'm just figuring out the fucking rules. Your life is just you messing up and then being told you're not supposed to do that. No, don't stare at strangers. Oh, okay. What do you say? Thank you. Oh, okay. What do you say? You're welcome. Oh, okay. You're just like learning what the adults around you are telling you what you're supposed to do. So like, that's why I feel bad for laughing. It's just crazy that people believe this shit. And then as adults, they don't have the same like wake up call that this woman had. That like you as an adult, you don't ever have a moment where you're like, wait, this is insane that I believe this. Wait a minute. Hold up. Now that I'm saying, like, I feel like there should be a moment where you start saying it out loud and you're like, Satan doesn't want women to have jobs because it'll cause divorces? That just sounds stupid. Like, you should be able to say that sentence out loud as an adult and be like, wait a minute. That just sounds stupid. That just sounds too stupid to be real.
Which I believe was the greatest abomination on the face of the earth. So for those reasons, the Democratic Party to me was literally a group of Satanists. And that's what might have been my reality.
Satan wants women to have jobs because then it'll cause divorces. Sorry, other way around. Thank you.
Forever, if my parents had homeschooled me, if maybe I hadn't had TV and the internet, and if I hadn't started working, see, like that's the devil, right? Women's led, but at home for a multi-level marketing essential oil company that honestly was one of the big kinks in
MLM essential oils company. No.
My Maga life. And if I hadn't ever been ordered to see a therapist. Again, all of these ideologies about Mormonism and America and Christian nationalism and white supremacy, they were just my reality. I was IQ tested, and 2 days a week I was bussed out.
Ordered is crazy. Ordered to see a therapist is crazy.
To a special school for gifted students. That was a big thing in the 80s and 90s. And this gifted class didn't just teach us memorization and stuff. I spent an entire school day, depending on the school year, between 1 and 2 days a week, learning critical thinking skills and problem solving on a level that I wasn't getting in my normal classroom. I was 8 years old and I learned how to take data and analyze it and draw conclusions, how to form a hypothesis. We learned to research and investigate and draw conclusions, even if we didn't have complete data. For example, one of my projects that year when I was 8 years old was about the Titanic, which hadn't been discovered yet. The shipwreck of the Titanic was still buried, who knows where. And we had to go through all of the data of the last communication from the Titanic, where it had been. And then we had to do mathematical formulations around tidal drift and things like that to speculate where the Titanic might be. And then we had to write a newspaper report as though we had discovered the Titanic. We also had to speculate things like decomposition. Would there be any skeletal remains? Would there still be any artifacts if the Titanic had struck the bottom of the sea? Could it be buried? We had to speculate and come up with all of these things. And here's what's funny. My public school education was really at odds with my religious upbringing, because in my religion...
By the way, Chad, this is why, like, the outside of, like, immunocompromised kids, I really don't think homeschooling should be legal. Because I understand if you're immunocompromised and, like, the choice is go to school and get deathly ill. And even if it's not deathly ill, it's like, I remember when I would get sick multiple times a year. And when I would get sick, I would be sick for like 2 weeks straight. So I was definitely a very sickly child. I'm still kind of a sickly adult. And that was like, and I don't think I'm immunocompromised. Like I've never had a blood test or anything that's suggested anything, any serious problems or whatever. Or like concerns that I should have, right? I can't imagine that like 1,000 times worse. And then you're getting sick and it's destroying your body as every time it's happening on a much bigger level. Like every illness might cause permanent severe problems for you. So like there's like a small taste in it. That fucking sucked ass. It sucked growing up and just getting sick from everything all the time. But again, obviously, like it sucks if your kid is immunocompromised and it is kind of a danger for them to go to school. I understand homeschooling. I understand. Everyone else, like, I just don't think, like, the people who are super religious who are like, I'm homeschooling my kid so that they don't get taught any woke. It's like, this should not be legal. Like, that shouldn't be legal. That shouldn't be legal. That should not be legal. That literally should not be legal. I'm sorry. Fucking force those kids to sit through Zoom meetings. I can't, like, it's crazy.
I was learning to memorize scriptures.
What if you don't want them to get bullied? Make schools less shit, man. Make guidance counselors less shit. I'm sorry.
I was learning to memorize the things that the prophets told me. I was learning to memorize the commandments and just obey. In fact, when I was a little girl, we used to sing this song in our Mormon primary class, which is the youth ministry, that goes, do as I'm doing, follow, follow me. And you literally follow somebody in doing something. And the reason that part of the youth ministry is it's teaching you to follow the prophet. There's another youth ministry song that literally says, follow the prophet, follow the prophet, follow the prophet. He knows the way. And you march around the room as a little child as though you're following the prophet, like you're walking behind him. There's another one. I will go, I will do the things the Lord commands. I know the Lord provides a way. He wants me to obey. Obedience was honestly the only thing that I was getting out of my religious community. And it's the only thing that I would have gotten out of my religious community. And honestly, if my parents had homeschooled me, everything probably would have been fine. But again, my public school education taught me not just to obey and not just to accept the facts in front of me, but to gather data, critically think, and form hypotheses. So at age 8, I was set to be baptized into the Mormon church. And that year we were presented in our youth ministry class with all of the details in the Mormon gospel, including Joseph Smith and the golden plate and the Book of Mormon and all of those little juicy nuggets of the gospel. And I can still remember the Sunday that my teacher, Sister Say, presented to us.
Obedience is what she was taught. Public schools do the same to a lesser degree for capitalism. Yeah, but at least, like, you might have conflicting things that you're being taught in school, versus stuff that's being taught by like your fucking hyper Mormon, hyper Christian parents at homeschool. And at least you have to deal with the fact that you're being taught different things and figure out how to deal with the fact that you're being taught different things. At least there's that, right? Like there is something. I do agree that like modern public schooling just teaches you mostly to be like a cog in the machine, mostly. But I'm sorry, religious extremism in this country is so fucking bad. It's so like the first step to getting this country off the like this train. If you want to stop the trolley or you want to get in the other track, the first step is removing religious extremism in this country. It's so bad. It's so bad. Not all well-funded schools are so much different. Well, yeah, I mean, I went to like a pretty good middle school and I went to a pretty shit high school. And like even in the worst classes, at least you're still being taught things that are somewhat relevant, scientifically backed, unless you're going to Catholic school, in which case I've never been to Catholic school. I can't count on a Catholic school. And also Catholic schools are so different. I've heard some people say they had Catholic school where they had like Bible study and they had to teach like evolution. And other kids who told me that they went to Catholic school and they did not get taught evolution. So I'm just talking about just normal public school. I'm only talking about public school.
The story of the Book of Mormon and the golden plate. And what a miracle it was that God had hidden up these golden records that the Indians had written so that Joseph Smith could find them in what the early 1830s, late 1820s. And I was in this critically thinking class. So I started to critically think about it. And I raised my hand in class. I don't remember everything that I said. But I was really excited by this information. I was literally so excited thinking that Heavenly Father didn't just have the Bible that was 2,000 years old, but that we also had this new scripture. So excited. So I raised my hand with a couple of questions. One of my questions was, where are the gold plates? Are they in a museum? Can I go see them? And the teacher told me that an angel had taken them up to heaven.
Oh, fuck.
So that nobody could see them. That really bothered me. That would continue to bother me. And I also asked, has anyone independent of Joseph Smith discovered similar record that would support the data? And the teacher was like, I have absolutely no idea. Now, at age 8, that didn't cause me to leave the church. I would be thoroughly brainwashed and indoctrinated into the Mormon religion until I learned to gaslight myself and doubt my doubts in really significant ways. But the things I was learning along the way, how to critically think, would just degrade everything eventually. So I would eventually grow up and get married and become a Mormon trad wifey by the time I was 20 years old and just live a very Christian nationalist, white supremacist, Mormon trad wifey, alt-right prepper sort of life. Then, Mormon women aren't supposed to work. Trad wives don't work, right? But multi-level marketing jobs, they're kind of okay because you can work from home. And so I started working with a friend who had joined this essential oil multi-level marketing company. And I was selling oils everywhere I could. I was doing classes out of my home. And some of my friends and neighbors would invite other friends and neighbors to my classes. This broadened my community and my network outside of just my Mormon ward. I started meeting people in my own neighborhood.
This is the danger Satan, that this is the danger they were warning about, that Satan is trying to get you by getting you to talk to people outside of the religion.
That I had never met before and people outside of my neighborhood. And suddenly I started having this whole slew of lesbians who signed up for my MLM. I know a lot of people think that my old life fell apart because of my ex-husband, Jake, but that's actually not why. He had no part. None of that had anything to do with me leaving. It was actually my lesbian friends. doTERRA team, like there they were, and they became personal friends of mine. And for the first time, I saw into the lives and behaviors of the boogeymen, and they were amazing. And then my brain
she was like, wait, I love lesbians. Yeah, you and everybody else. Also, can I just say, it goes back to what I said about trans people. It's not that trans people are uniquely evil in any particular way. It's that they're a great scapegoat because there aren't enough trans people for people to meet. There are so few trans people in this country, which is why it's so important for the left to not concede any ground on trans people, to defend trans rights as hard as we can for as long as we can. But because so few people ever get the opportunity to interact with a trans person, it's very easy to make them into boogeymen. And not to mention, a lot of trans people want to leave to blue states where they can actually get care. So these red states have like a mass exodus of trans people because nobody wants to fucking live there. Also, someone else bringing up a very good point. Counterpoint, there's plenty of trans people. They're everywhere. Go meet them. Sorry, you're telling someone from like Missouri to go just meet trans people that are everywhere, right? Like there's one other major problem, which is first of all, relative to the rest of the population, there's like what, 2% of, I think, Americans are trans or identify as trans. But also, two, you don't even know how many trans people exist that aren't trying to transition because they are limited by resources. So there are people that you don't even know are trans around you because they don't feel comfortable talking about it, or like that you run into in the street or whatever. 3, most trans people want to leave to blue states where they can actually get care and potentially not get hate crimed, or at least not as often. And then 4, the trans people that you run into that the conservatives, we can always tell the trans people that they can't tell. So I think that because so few Americans even ever interact with a trans person ever, it's very easy to villainize trans people. It's just so fucking easy to villainize them because you're not interacting at all. So you have no idea that these aren't people that are trying to like trans your kids or whatever. And then you talk to a trans person and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm just being lied to. You're just like a person. I know. Shocking.
Started comparing and doing some critical thinking, and I realized all these lesbians in my essential oil company downline are way nicer and have far better, happier lives than the people that go to church with me on Sunday, people in my family, other people in my community. That realization, I will tell you, put my brain into so many mental gymnastics that I could not possibly control. Then we got the computer in our home, and I had never really had a computer before. And I was really late to getting like a smartphone, and I got on Facebook, and that allowed me to see a peek across the world. And what I realized is that some of the hatred and bigotry that was coming from my community towards other people was completely unwarranted. Literally access to just seeing the world through social media and through the internet, it kind of proved to me that my religious leaders and people in my political party were just liars. But I found ways to quell those scares and keep believing in the church and stay part of the community. And I just chalked all of those doubts up to Satan anyway, so I didn't really care much about them, but those little seeds had been planted. And then my abusive marriage got so bad that I was ordered to see a therapist. Now, this was something that I had never done before. I believed that the gospel and the scripture.
And by the way, as per usual, religions that rely heavily on hierarchical structures obviously always will put men at the top of those hierarchical structures. And then they have to convince all of the women, hey, by the way, if you leave your husband, you are literally being convinced by Satan to be a whore.
Scriptures and Heavenly Father, my priesthood leaders, and just my personal prayers had the answers to everything. Jesus was my healer. I didn't need some shrink getting in my head and teaching me weird thoughts that were of the devil, but I was ordered. I had to. So I went and saw a therapist, and that therapist would be one of the big straws that broke the camel's back. Let me tell you specifically how that happened. He taught me how to listen to myself. My therapist didn't ever tell me, like, leave your husband or, like, maybe don't go to your church because it seems like it's harming your life. He just made me look inside for the first time, and he taught me that you're not supposed to feel crappy all the time. That's not Satan testing you. That just means that you have a crappy life. He taught me it's okay to feel happy. In fact, you should feel happy. So he kind of taught me internalized critical thinking, that if something's going on in your life and you're not feeling good, look around and see if you can figure out why your life is so unhappy. Let me give you one example of that. Mormons are obsessed with family dinners. Like, the family that eats together stays together, and family dinner for us was a big deal because I was a crab wife, so we had all this homemade food. We'd often have our family prayer and scripture study as part of dinner. We wanted everyone together all the time, unless they had sports or a job or something. Our whole entire family sat down for this big family meal every single night for decades. I was the cook. I was the cleanup crew. I was everything. I really had this religious belief in family dinners. It's a big deal. One day, my therapist just throws out to me, he says, "It seems like we have a lot of conversations around dinner, you being abused during dinner or immediately after dinner by Jake, and you exhibiting a lot of stress around mealtime. Yeah, I'm cooking all this homemade food. We have a bunch of kids, and it's like a bad time of day where everybody's just coming home from school and they have homework, and we're transporting to sports practices right after and things like that. And also, I was married to a dick. So mealtime wasn't particularly enjoyable. Nothing was enjoyable. The only enjoyable thing was just not being around him." Of note, I still have so much trauma around mealtime that my therapist has had to work through that PTSD. And it's only been about a year that I've been able to sit down face to face with my own partner and my teenagers, and especially other strangers at dinner time, either in my own home or at a restaurant, without having PTSD panic attacks that can potentially end me up in an ambulance and in the hospital because of the abuse that I suffered at mealtime. My family mealtimes.
You know when leftists say that we have more in common with hardcore Republicans than we do with liberals? This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I say I agree with that sentiment. That there are so many brainwashed Republicans that have no idea that there is a better world. That I understand you just want affordability and you just want life good and you're being tricked by all these evil pieces of shit, that it's trans people or immigrants or whatever. And it's none of those things. And as I always say, what do I always say? There are bigots and there are Nazis, and there's only one solution for the bigots and the Nazis. You can't convert Nick Fuentes. You can't make him good. He's a Nazi. When you're at that level of pure bigotry, there's no salvaging whatever the fuck that is. But there are so many Americans that are like this woman that they don't even have like unique hate in their heart. They don't have like true, genuine hate in their heart. That's like, that will withstand any like lifestyle changes. It's like there are so, and this goes back to like feminism is ruining this world. It's like, no. And feminism is convincing women to leave men. It's like, no, women are experiencing relationships that they hate or have witnessed their parents in relationships that they've hated, specifically their mothers, and they've left those relationships. I don't think you've ever said that. What? I've said that lots of times. In fact, whenever I say it, people are always like, no, Republicans are all evil. It's like, what the hell? Stop it. Stop it. No. Let's not do those jokes. She has said it many times, yeah. But I think people underestimate how many Republicans are like this. Like how many people voted Trump that like just don't understand that there is a better living for everyone. And you don't have to pit people against each other. You don't have to blame immigrants. You don't have to blame trans people. They don't give a shit about your life, dude. They have their own problems. They have their own issues, okay? They're already dealing with probably some fuckhead that just said, I'm friendly, and shot them in arc raiders. Like, they got their own fucking shit they're dealing with, man. They don't give a fuck about your dumbass life. They really don't. They're not trying to steal your jobs. They're not trying to chance your kids. They're just trying to live their life like you. That's it. That's all they're doing. They're just trying to fucking live their life like you. And there are so many of these people that are just like, they don't, like, I'm sorry, if you're watching this video, this woman doesn't have, like, real pure hatred in her heart. If she did, and anyone in here who's met real bigots, which I've already talked about, I'm down to be friends and, like, slowly push people left who vote conservative. I can't be friends with someone who's a bigot. I just can't. I can't convince you to not hate other people just for being them. I can't do that. I can't. If you're at, like, race realism, where you just think this group of people is inferior, I cannot say. Someone else can save you. It's not me. And I'm so like disgusted by you. I don't even want to be near you. Like, I don't want to be near you. Like, I can't. It's like, it's so gross. Like, it actually like makes me, and for the people in here, maybe if I was white, I wouldn't feel this way. I would be like, I could talk down like a racist or something, but I can't. I just can't. It's just so, it's like so nasty to me. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, literally, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because if you're at the point where you're at least a little sane, where you're like, oh, it's like these districts are poorer. Yeah, no wonder there's worse outcomes for the people that live there. Great. We can start there. Okay, all right. Whew. You live in this reality. You live in the sane reality where people are people. And if you give people a bad spawn point, their life is more likely to be worse. Okay. Sure, let's talk policy now. Do you share that sentiment about misogynist? I think misogyny is a weird one, but I often don't try. If someone is like, the other thing too is like, it depends on how much of a misogynist you are. Cause like, I genuinely, this is my most leftist, I don't know, most woke take. I do think everyone in this country is a misogynist. I think it's impossible not to be one. And I'm including myself in that group. It's so firmly baked and rooted in our society that it's like, it's hard to disentangle that, right? It's like racism, you can't opt out. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, just because I am not seeing all of the ways that these forms of bigotry exist, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. Right? But like true misogyny, like true like hating women, like, yeah, I don't think I can do that. I can't. But those people also don't even want to listen to me. So like, it's not like I could convince them anyways. Like they literally hate women. So like there's no point in even trying, honestly. What was I trying to say? This woman talks about meeting these lesbians and she has no problem with them. And she's like, wait, these people are great. True bigots, which again, if you've met true bigots, you know what I'm talking about. They can't stand the like idea without immediately telling you you need to convert so you don't go to hell forever. Like your existence is sinful and it's fucking disgusting. And I will not speak to someone that engages in this lifestyle. Like that's literally what those people say. There is a massive jump from that to this woman who voted Republican and is Republican and didn't go for libs or liberals or Democrats because they're the party of Satan because of abortions or whatever, right? True bigots, aka Jubilee panel. Exactly. And again, that doesn't mean we concede ground to these people. That's not what I mean at all. And I'm never going to mean that ever. That doesn't mean, oh, well, we should bring these people in the party. It's okay if they're a little transphobic. No. But I think we can rehabilitate a lot of these people and show them like, dude, these are just people trying to live their life. These are literally just people trying, like, trans people are just people trying to live their life. Immigrants are just people trying to live their life. It's not fair to them to demonize them when they aren't even doing anything to you. You know? Weirdly, even some of the ones who desperately try to convert you believe that they're doing so to help you. Like they think they're being kind because that's what they were taught. You do not arrive at bigotry because it's a logical belief. You arrive at it through emotional persuasion and rationalization. Therefore, similarly, bigotry cannot be defeated via logical debate. Yep, 100%. It has to be defeated through experience and confrontation with reality and exposure. And not to get too political, you know, political channel. That's literally why his polling is just going down the fucking drain. It's because he keeps telling people, guys, things are getting cheaper. And then people go to the grocery stores and they're like, no, they fucking aren't. You fucking, I do my own grocery shopping, bitch. No, they aren't. Why are you lying? You're literally lying. You're literally a wheezy little fucking liar. Gas has never been cheaper, people. It's very cheap. Go get gas. Go get eggs. Checks receipt. So that was a fucking lie. What's the title of this video, by the way? How I Escaped Maga. Critical thinking woke me up. And then there's 2 emojis. Sorry, I do. This is also why I do like to watch these videos and sort of watch videos from different perspectives and talk to people of different perspectives, right? Because it's like, I think there are so many people that we can reach with a better worldview, with democratic socialism, with class consciousness, with progressive values. And it's just a matter of getting to these people and improving our education system. Like, I'm sorry. We need Kami Mamdani in office right now and then just taking the 10 trillion to Israel and putting it in education immediately. It's so funny, dude, because like even going to business school was so funny when I went to business school because it was on the precipice of like China, you know, slowly emerging as a political power. And every single every single professor that I had in business school that was a business specific class said, you should learn Mandarin. They're going to be the next world power. Learn Mandarin. And to be clear, every single one of those professors also called it a commie state. And they were able to recognize they did the things, like if you're playing a simulation game, you're playing City Skylines, they did all the right things. They did everything right and they still indicted them. As soon as you dump all of your resources into housing, into your labor force, into education, and into infrastructure, it can only good happen. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. This is also the same thing when like people shit on Russia and it's like, dude, Please pull 100 people off the streets of the United States and ask them simple questions. Pull 100 people off the street in Russia, maybe not so much during wartime, and you will find a massive gap in education. A massive gap in education. Why? Because when you put all of your resources, all of your state's GDP into infrastructure and education, only good can happen. Nothing bad can happen. Oh, they're pulling people off the streets all right. See, why can't the right do edgy humor? Why is it that when the right does edgy humor, it's just like rape, the N-word, man wearing a dress? Like, we can do it. Why can't they do it without just saying slurs? Creativity on the right. I mean, all right, I'm just getting sidetracked a little bit. Anyways, this is what I mean when I talk about the fact that, like, in a bizarre way, the left is more capable of reaching the right than they are in reaching liberals. Because let me just tell you, I have talked to liberals and I've talked to people who voted Trump. And I've been able to push Trumpers on things. Like, they will concede, at least the Trumpers that I talk to, they will concede on things. They'll be like, yeah, okay, you got me. I don't agree with that. No, you're right. If you come prepared and it's a relatively friendly relationship, they will. And also, I will say the Epstein stuff really fucked over Trump hardcore, because that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for the Trumpers that I know. They were like, they're all pedophiles. Oh my God. I can't believe it. They're all just like pedophilic crooks. What the fuck? Yeah, fuck these people, dude. Oh my God. And libs will never concede on anything ever. You try to criticize. It's like, and the worst part is I really do try to meet people where they're at. This is why I get so much shit from leftists for this behavior. I try to meet people where they're at because I think it's effective. And I will try to do that with libs, and they just like, it's so meaningless with them. So like when I will try to reach libs where they are, I'll be like, listen, I agree. Some percentage of people will not vote for a female president. I agree with you. And I agree that messaging is just harder. You just have to be more competent. I mean, Mamdani had to be perfect. Being a brown Muslim person trying to run for mayor of New York City, he literally had to be perfect. If he was just like a random white dude that was really charismatic, he wouldn't have had to been that perfect, and he wouldn't have gotten the questions he got. He wouldn't have been called an anti-Semite over and over and over and over again. Your standard is just higher when you are of one or two or more minority groups. And so I'll meet libs where they're at and be like, no, I agree with you. There's some percentage of people that just like, they were never going to vote for Kamala because she didn't present well enough as woman. Maybe she was too annoying and screechy and like, my nagging wife or whatever. Maybe she was too soft and she didn't come off as like, strong, peace through strength. Maybe, yes, I agree with you. I don't know what I would clock that percentage at, but there is some percentage that just they won't be moved. 100%, I'm on you. We're on the same page here. The thing is, though, if she had good policy and she had good positions, she would have won. Because there are enough people that are down for a candidate that actually moves them. There are enough people that even, I think there are some people that are like on the scale of misogyny. Let's say there's 0 and 100, right? Let's say like 5% is over at the 100. They're never going to vote for her. Let's say the majority of people are at 50. If she performed perfectly and she had all the right positions and she responded correctly to every single criticism, she would have won. She would have won. And I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that she could have overcome the same exact struggles that Mamdani had winning his office if her positions were good enough. And then that's when I lose them. That's when I lose that's literally exactly when I lose these fucking libs. They're like, no, that's not why. It's like, oh my God, dude, like, where do you get this like haughty toddy fucking mindset from? Like, I just don't fucking get it. I don't get it. You're literally wrong. You're not even willing to like to pretend to have the conversation. Oh my God. Anywho, you guys get what I'm saying. She didn't even need to be perfect. She just needed to have like 2 good takes. Well, to win a presidential election, the bar is just a teensy bit higher than that. I think for us, she just needed to, condemn genocide. That's all she needed to do. But you have to think about all the other people in this country. It's literally the Patrick Walt meme. A good example is Claudia Sheinbaum. 1,000,000% Claudia Scheinbaum is a great example. Absolutely. Totally agree. What was I trying to say? I wanted to read a couple messages. Libs are nowhere. They're social climbers. Trying to understand them is futile for real. And I think, like, because there's such a fundamental shift in your perspective to go from being a Trumper to being left-leaning, you're maybe more willing to consider it. Whereas the difference between lib to left, for liberals in their brain, they're like, we're basically the same. And it's like, whoa, that, you just hate crimed me, okay? Take that back right now. But they don't see it that way. They're like, we both vote Democrat. That's basically the same thing. It's like, oh my God, common. What? Oh my God, dude, can I just cash in W's? Can I just fucking cash them all? Yes, give me the fucking W's. Trump backs off plan to deploy National Guard to New York City after Mamdani meeting. What did I say? What did I say? Literally, what did I say? He can't win this war on every front, okay? He has to commit to these 35,000 NYPD officers, and then he can maybe win on this front, right? Because he can at least control the NYPD to some extent. He has no control over, like, the National Guard. He has no control over, like, ICE, right? But he might have sway with the, you know, old double hand job over here, you know, the double dick suck guy. He might be able to be like, come on, do it for me. I'll give you your favorite smile. Come on, please. Oh, thank you, Trump. You're the best. Did I ever mention how beautiful you are in every way? And your nussie is looking very good today. It's looking amazing. It's looking really good. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Call me anytime. We're just two guys from Queens. You know, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Trump got the adoption papers drawn up. Bro, he got the divorce papers drawn up. And he's got the marriage certificate ready. Also wanted to read another chat message. Quote, another unique experience I had at the high school I went to was that in the text box for religion class, LGBTQ was demonized. However, during the mandatory church session during repentance, I came out as trans to a priest there, and he basically told me it wasn't bad. It's something I should explore more and not be ashamed of it, and shouldn't be considered a sin or whatever. And yeah, there's like, this is what I mean when I say, like, I used to be such a big, like, sorry, I didn't put the chat message on screen. I apologize. I used to be such a big, it's so embarrassing. Like, emotionally, I was such a big Reddit atheist. I still don't even have, sorry, I have a Reddit account that I've posted on like 4 times in my subreddit. And that's it. There is a Denims subreddit that I made, and I've never made another Reddit account. So like, I never used it, but I had the mentality is what I'm saying. Kind of the same way that someone can be an incel even if they've had sex. It's like, it's about where you are here mentally. And I was definitely like, oh, I was definitely a Reddit atheist. Oh, it's so cringe. It's the cringiest thing that it's the cringiest position I've ever held. I'm sorry. Okay, please forgive me. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Okay. Please don't hold it against me too hard. At least I never posted on Reddit. Okay. And I never went on Reddit. I was a Reddit atheist by proxy of going on Tumblr. I was a Tumblr atheist, technically, but nobody calls it that. Everybody calls it Reddit atheist. Anyways, and I just genuinely was at the point where I was like, we just need to destroy all religion. Like, religion is the root of the problem. If we get rid of religion, we can... it's not the root of all problems, but it is causing mass psychosis in people, allowing them to engage in, like, insane behavior. Like, it's crazy that a politician... like, to me... personally, it is fucking insane that a politician can even utter the words God about a policy, that they can talk about abortion and invoke God. Like, that's, I can't believe that it's real. Like, I genuinely cannot believe that it's real. Like, this shouldn't happen in this country. It just shouldn't. We are not we should have separation of church and state. And something has gone terribly wrong that a politician can even do that. I'm not talking about like someone saying, God damn it, or something. I'm saying like, this is a fucking sin against God. Like, we shouldn't allow abortion. I'm talking about that. I'm like, that's fucking genuinely insane to me. It doesn't feel like it should be legal. And then I went like full blown atheist, and I was like, we need to delete religion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the problem was that I ended up meeting religious people that made me be like, you know what? It's not religious people. It's mega churches that shouldn't be given tax breaks. It's not all religions and all religious people. It's generally religious leaders with too much money and too much power. And then eventually, oh, it's fucking capital. God fucking damn it. God damn it. But can you convince us / me against this? Like it is mass psychosis. It's not only America. Again, it's like, I think the only thing that can move you is meeting people who are very religious, but don't shove their religion onto other people. The way that like Mamdani is Muslim and he is in fact not going to enact Sharia law, as afraid as people are right now, he's actually not going to do that. And once you see people using religion or like using religious centers as a source for good, it's like, fuck. Okay, I'll tone down my position a little. I'll moderate it a little bit, which it did save me because I was a Reddit atheist. So it did save me. I don't care if someone's a Christian. I just don't want your religion to be used as a capitalist tool to oppress people. I just genuinely think that like after a certain amount of money that a church receives, you should not be given tax breaks at that point. I understand there's a lot of small churches, but you either cap it and you're like first 100K that a church makes, after that you get taxed. Sorry. Them's the breaks. Them's the breaks, sorry. All mega churches, tax them like crazy. I'm sorry. Every single one of them that's doing like fucking light shows, tax them. Tax them. I'm sorry. They should not know. Why are there pastors that look like they're from fucking hell making money off of other people? Like, oh my God. And then also there is the like, you will attract more flies with honey than vinegar or whatever, that like, if you want, like a lot of people are religious, and if you want to build a broader class conscious coalition, you have to accept that. And here's the other problem. The other problem is you have to have radical acceptance. You kind of have to embrace absurdism just a little bit and recognize, even if we removed all religion, people would just invent more religion. You could snap your fingers, Thanos style, right now and remove Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam. You could do it and they'll make new ones. You can't. You can't. It's just not. It's not plausible. It is plausible because like it's just an inherently human thing to want to believe that like, well, I can create. Sorry, we're born with the conscious experience, which is the trippiest thing that exists. Like the level at which we are conscious is it's unacceptable. Okay, I'll be honest. It's a little unacceptable. I'm gonna be real. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. It's not cool. It's weird. It's fucking weird. It is weird. All right. And unfortunately, once you have the ability to think, you know, you will consider, you know, the Prometheus debacle. It's like, why do I exist? What the fuck? This is fucked up. Why can I think about this? Oh my God. No, I'm supposed to be monkey. I'm supposed to pick fleas off my siblings and then eat them. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. What do you mean by this? I don't want to experience this. Stop it. Ow. Your purpose is to cut butter. Oh my God. Exactly. Monkey. You couldn't experience cats as a monkey? You don't know that. You don't fucking know that. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah. Well, anyways, moving on. Did you cover the geolocation on Twitter for exposing a lot of grifters? Not yet. But it's on the docket for today. Monkeys and cats can be great friends. Okay. Anywho, I think that wraps up the religion talk. Can we get back to this video a little bit?
Growing up were horrible too. And so dinner is not a happy place for me to be. And my therapist just pointed that out one day. And he said, maybe there's another solution to that. Why don't you experiment and see if there's another way to eat meals that makes you a little bit happier? He challenged me to find myself a TV tray. I actually stopped at a garage sale on the way home from therapy that day. They had a 50-cent TV tray that I still have in my dresser that we are going to literally use in my movie. This exact TV tray will be in my movie. I dug it out. This TV tray changed my... So that night,
the cut off.
myself a lobster tail, like a little side salad. And instead of cooking and eating dinner as a whole family, I had gotten the kids some TV dinner. And I sat down at my TV tray in front of my favorite show. And I told everyone, hey, don't bother mommy. You guys do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. And it was the first meal in decades that I had eaten that I was actually happy. And I started to learn to look inward and see what made me happy. Therapy did that. therapy and being taught to look inward would eventually corrode my belief in the Mormon Church, Christian nationalism, white supremacy, Donald Trump, MAGA, and everything else that I stood for. It would completely unravel my entire identity. It wasn't very long after that, maybe 2 years later, that one day I went to my Mormon church like I always did, and I believed in the church. I didn't have any doubts. And I was sitting in the women's group. It's called Relief Society. It's the third hour of church, just surrounded by women. And the lesson that day was on the evils of homosexuality. I had fought against gay marriage. I'd always believed that gay people were the worst people in the world. But now I had these lesbian friends, and they were the nicest people in the world. And I looked inside and I realized, oh my God, this is making me feel terrible. Like, I don't want to sit here and listen to this for an hour. So 10 minutes in, I left the Mormon church. I was 44 years old. I had been a faithful, believing member from birth. I left the Mormon church and I have never been back.
Sorry, I'm such a sucker, dude. I just like...
2 weeks later, I caught my Mormon returned missionary husband of 24 years picking up the very last 19-year-old escort that he would ever cheat on me with. I'll link an article in the description from my Substack where I talk about how I had to stay with him for 3 years after I discovered a double life because I was a trad wife and I couldn't go anywhere. And I was still a trad wife and I had no money of my own. I had no job.
And by the way, this is the fear that fascist freaks have about feminism. It is such like an immediate red flag when someone like says feminism is destroying the family unit. It's because they want women to perform the historical labor that they've performed for the past however far back you want to go, which is you don't have a way out. You don't have an education. You don't have a job. You don't have a resume. You have no way to get out of this relationship. You are trapped. So fix it. Your husband's job is to provide a roof over your head and not in 2025, not beat you. Because I think we're finally, oh, thank God. Oh my God. We're finally at the point where beating women is too far. That's like always it's very hard to find a person that says you can beat your wife. It's like, that's a very rare individual today. And if they exist, they're silent about it. They're very silent about it. Cops. Did somebody say something? Thought I heard something. Sorry. Yeah. Outside of that, that's like for fascistic freaks that believe in hierarchies. It's just, you can do, as long as you provide a roof over your family's home, you've done your job. Congrats. You are husband and father of the year. You make money. You go to a job and you get a paycheck. Congratulations, father of the year, husband of the year. Yes, let's give you 500 awards. And if you're a woman that ever wants anything else more than that, you are a greedy bitch that has been deceived by feminism. It's like, what the... And if there are any failings of your husband, well, that's actually your job to fix it, bitch. Have you considered being less terrible in every single way? And then maybe your husband wouldn't cheat on you. It's like, and that's literally like, that's why people say feminism is destroying the family unit. It's like, you're fucking stupid. Holy shit. You're actually a moron, or you're a piece of shit. In Utah, if the wife is the breadwinner, they're legally allowed to come after your money too. They don't want any escape. 10 ex-wives, all these women's fault. So true. So true. Yeah.
Had nothing. But that night, when I discovered everything and this all went down,
Cattle rat.
I looked inside and I asked myself, how is this making you feel? And I remember looking him in the face that one last time and realizing, I actually hate this man. I don't want to be with him. He doesn't deserve to be my husband. And so when I found him in bed that night, I snapped my fingers and woke him up and said, a man who does this to me doesn't ever deserve to sleep in bed beside me again. So you can stay the night. And tomorrow morning, our marriage is over. I'm filing for divorce. Therapy. A week after.
I don't know a lot of girl talk, and that's period. You know, just pretend like that was cunt. Pretend like what I said was cunt, because that's how I felt. This story is like, it's like it started at a low point and now we're really at quite the high point. You're completely right. What's your counter to the overall sentiment? I worked my ass off all day doing a dangerous job, like working electrical power lines in the air on a helicopter all day. So I risk my life for her. And then they think that they're owed the planet. That's it. I always think that's the stupidest thing on the planet. Because it's like, okay, first of all, let's say that job needs to get done. It's like, you know the job that every like 2 months gets posted on Twitter, and it's like those dudes that are all like sweaty and oily, and they're like doing an oil rig job with like the least safety precautions. You know what I'm talking about? You know the one, it's like, this is what real men do. And it's just like them jerking this oily pole or whatever. It's like, okay. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be that oily. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to, seems a little homoerotic, but who am I to judge? That's fine. Okay. That guy owns the business and is doing it all wrong. Yeah. It's like, okay. Keep jerking those oily poles, I guess. Whatever. Anywho, it's like, first of all, those are always the dudes that are like, women never take accountability for their actions. It's always that specific dude. Oh my God. And it's like, how about the accountability for the fact that you chose that job? How about that? How about that? And it's always the people that are, when you tell them like, I think baristas should get paid a living wage so that they can live in the cities that they work in. They're like, maybe they should get a different job then. It's like, okay, so you believe in the concept of picking a different job. You understand, you seem to think that this is plausible. So then why don't you do that? Well, someone's got to do the job, So I'm bravely doing it. It's like, then why not ask for like better pensions? Obviously, then this is like a step that they've never thought about, right? Because again, fundamental to these belief systems is hierarchies. They might be below their boss, but they're head of the household. They're above all these other people. So it gets to let them feel good about it. And it's like, hey man, I'm on the same page as you. Your job is hard. Someone needs to jerk the oil pole or whatever, I guess. I'll just accept the premise, even though that seems like bizarre, but whatever. You got to be the one jerking it. Okay. Unionize. Unionize with your fellow oil jerkers. Get paid better wages. Get more vacation time. I think my most progressive woke opinion is that I think people who do physical labor should retire sooner. And it's not that I don't value all labor. All types of labor are valuable in my eyes. From the person making the coffee at the coffee shop, your barista that makes you your coffee, all the way to the oil jerkers and everything in between. If you have a boss that you have to deal with and you work a job that is a real job, not a podcaster, you don't have a job as a podcaster. Okay? No. But let's just talk about traditional work for a second. Even the people who work in call centers, that's still labor. But the problem is, and the unique carve out, in my opinion, is that if you work a physical labor job, it will break your body down. You can show up to your cubicle, office, whatever, for like 50, 60 years. You know what I mean? Those people, I could do that easily, happily. I love my computer. My computer is my safe place, my safe space. You can do it. Now, I still think those people, even if you work in a cubicle, you should get paid a living wage. You should get benefits. You should be able to retire, obviously. But I do think people who work physical labor jobs, your body has a smaller lifespan and a smaller, not lifespan. What the fuck word am I looking for? You have less hours that you can use your body for compared to your brain. Usability window is a little bit shorter with your physical body compared to your brain. Or like your muscles or whatever, because I guess your brain is a part of your body. You guys get what I mean. And you can injure yourself really bad. Shelf life. That's what I was thinking of. The shelf life on your muscles it's not comparable to your brain. But also you can injure yourself. My wokest wokey McWoke position is that those people should retire like 10 years sooner than people who don't work physical labor jobs. And I am someone who probably would never want to do a physical labor job. As someone who's done some physical labor, I've done quite a bit of physical labor. I would not want to do a physical labor job. I would rather deal with like the most annoying customer on the planet than deal with physical labor. I already like standing 8 hours a day already like destroyed the shit out of my back, which is crazy. But I think it's just I have like genetically I have like a bad back, which fucking blows, dude. You got soft hands, brother. I wanna squat a plate and I wanna go sit on my computer for the rest of the day. All right, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. So like, those people should retire sooner. You should be demanding more at the people above you, not demanding more of the people below you. What the fuck is wrong with you? But until you break the idea of like hierarchical structures in that person's brain, they will never look up. They're just going to ask more from the people beneath them. All right, back to the video.
After I left the Mormon church, I went to a Christian church and I became a hardcore Christian for the next 4.5 years. My theory was the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith had just kept me from knowing Jesus and having a relationship with him. And so I threw myself as deeply into Christianity as I had Mormonism. But unfortunately, with therapy and with critical thinking skills, I had started to really analyze the Bible and I had started to pay attention to how I felt when I read it. And I started to realize that as I was reading the scriptures to my children, and not just the Old Testament, but also the New Testament, and basically going to church with my children, that it made me feel like
cigarettes to Zins. I respect it. Dude, you've been here for 2 years and I've never noticed how good your chat messages are. Oh my God.
crap. I just didn't like the Bible. It was hateful. It was judgmental. It was misogynistic and racist and really horrifying. And outside of some of the philosophies of Yeshua that are relatively refreshing, the Bible was not something that I wanted to consume anymore. And church wasn't resonating with me. But here's the straw that broke the camel's back. And this is really important because a lot of people on my channel think that I became atheist because of the Mormon church. Like the Mormon church destroyed my relationship with God. No, the Christian church did that. I was devoutly Christian for 4.5 years. And my participation in Christianity and actually reading the Bible multiple times during that era were why I broke up with Jesus. Here's one of the straws that broke the camel's back. In our congregation, we had a deaf interpreter, and she stood at the front of the church. And one day we sat right behind this row of deaf people that were watching her intently during the church service. And afterwards, she sat down next to this group of people. It was a woman and some small children. And I had never met the interpreter before. So
Indigo Blue, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really generous of you. Stove, thank you so much for the 4 months. Easy, thank you for the 20. Carrie Bear, thank you for the 29. Shy That Vote, thank you again for the 12 months. Just reading out some stuff that I missed. Cute Tripping, thank you for the 6 months. Drag, thank you so much for the 17 months. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate all the support. I noticed a hype train, so I'm just going to say thank you to everybody who helps support the stream and helps support the show. It means a lot because this is one of the very, very few streams on this website that is totally ad-free. That's right. If you've never gotten ads on this stream, it is a rare experience. There are no ads here. I make nothing off of ads. And totally sponsor-free. I don't have any sponsors. My opinions are my own. No matter how silly they are, no matter how many pieces of media I shit on, know that it is my opinion. And so I get to only do this show because of your support. So I really do appreciate all of the support. If you have a Prime sub that's just sitting there, not being used, just waiting around for a good opportunity to use it, you can use it here. You can also tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3. Or you can gift some subs to your fellow viewers in here. And I'm just going to say, I will be releasing some emotes very soon. We will be commissioning and releasing some emotes very soon. So now is a great time to give some subs to some people who will get to enjoy them very shortly. But yeah, thank you again for all the support. I really do appreciate it.
That song's hot. Oh, I'm gonna fuck him.
Contraman, thank you for the 4 gift subs. Kyle, thank you for the Prime. Dat Pleb, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Denims is streaming.
DBS, Denims Public Broadcasting. This is true. That is true. Too bad there's... Oh no, we can do PBS. Pants. We can do that. Zenmas, thank you so much for the 10 gift subs. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. All right. And remember, if you don't say thank you, if you get a gift sub, I'm going to go bald.
Denims is definitely top 5.
I will literally lose every single hair on my head, and then I will be bald. And I don't want to be bald. I don't want she's bald. Okay, I'm scared that my head is lumpy. And then what if I look like Elwig and my head's all lumpy? That would be terrible. So yeah, I can't bear that
The
cross.
mullet rolls are gone, people.
Evan Memphis, thank you for the 20 gift subs. Thank you so much. Slam, thank you so much for the prime. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Listen, girls, the lesbian bald women are so hot. No, I agree with you. But I'm saying I'm worried that my head is too lumpy. And if my head is lumpy, it's not going to look bald. It's not going to look good bald. It's not. I'm scared. You know? Isn't that a wig? No. Sorry, I just remembered the video of the blackface crackhead sex pestiny girlfriend, whatever, where she's like, see, this is my real hair. And then she gets to her clip-on bangs and she's like, see, my real hair. See? And then she's back to fucking tearing it out. It's like, no wonder you have no hair. No wonder you're balding. You're like pulling it as hard as you can, trying to rip as much of it out as possible. Girl, stop. Stop. And please, girl, find some clip-on bangs that actually match your natural hair color. And then the entire section moves. Yeah, it's like, see, guys, look, it's not fake. And it's like everything moves. It's like, lesbian here, never seen a woman who didn't rock the bald look. No one's head is too lumpy. Okay, I spent a lot of my formative years wearing a headset. And this is my other secret fear. What if I have a headset dent? I don't think this would look good. What if I'm Tyler 1? Because I did spend a lot of formative years with a headset. And I don't think that would look good, personally. Even if I pull off the lumps, the potential lumps, I don't know that this would look good. Contraband, thank you again for the 12 gift subs. Thank you. Smash Tipo, thank you for the prime. Think you can rock the dent? Don't worry, it's temporary. Goes away after a few minutes. Are you sure? It does not. He crawled so you could run.
Alright, shut the fuck up about this computer talk, you fucking nerds.
This isn't the clip. Tyler one time finally sees his head done. Didn't even show the clip. It did. I think he was just like looking at it at the beginning. It doesn't look like it went away, chat. Can I show you guys something that I quote very often? Hold up. Do you guys know the video? It goes down. It go down. Do you guys know this video?
It's a bridge. Goes around the corner. Walking on the fighting side of me.
That don't look like it.
It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh!
That's how I feel being talking about the headset dent. It's like chatters being like, it goes away, and me being like, it does not. It do not go away. It goes away. Did they survive? No, it doesn't go down. Don't worry about it. Also, someone sent this. Trump just posted this. Oh, this is good.
Denims is streaming.
Oh, this is good. I'm glad we're the country of no kings and no royalty. I'm glad that the country wasn't founded on escaping royalty. Ha 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 ha. That does look like Elizabeth Warren. That does, in fact, look like Elizabeth Warren in the middle. It's a little hard with AI because sometimes it just like won't create the thing that you want it to create. So it's hard to tell who the person on the right is. I think the person on the left is supposed to be Chuck Schumer. I think. It doesn't really look like Chuck Schumer, but it kind of does. And I can't tell who the right is. Adam Schiff, maybe? Old generic white guy, number 37. Don't say Pocahontas. Stop! Stop. Oh my god. Also, Note Anomaly, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Smash Hippo again, thank you for the prime. Thanks, guys. No. Dude, this IDubbbz emote is so bad. Like, it's so good that it's so bad. All right. Okay. Let's try and finish this video. What's the next section? Political awakening, alignment, call to action. Fun. Okay.
Just said hello.
We're going to finish this video.
So she introduced herself to us and then introduced us to her wife. They were a lesbian couple. And they were also special needs foster parents. So all of the children sitting on the row with them were foster children, some of whom they had adopted. And it was so refreshing to me to see lesbians in church because Mormons don't do that. I asked if she had a Bible study group and invited her to come to our Bible study group. And she said that she would in 2 weeks. So the next week I went to the teacher that I knew was going to be instructing the following week's Bible study. And I just told him after class, I said, hey, I've invited a new couple. They've never been before. And I want to make sure that they feel really welcome. And also they're lesbians. So let's just make sure that we're really kind and embracing because I know that that can be challenging sometimes to feel accepted in church. And this Bible study instructor said, well, if they're lesbians, then I'm probably going to have to really warn them about what God says in the Bible about lesbianism, because it's our duty as Christians to make sure that they are warned. I don't want them to commit sin. This is actually so hard for me to talk about. This moment right here is actually when I left Christianity. I burned my Bible, I think the next week, and I left religion behind forever. This conversation right here. This man, he looked so nice. And I had known him for a while. We'd gone to this church for a few years. And to hear the hateful things coming out of his mouth, and then to see him flip through this book and read all of these scriptures to me, was so jarring. Like, I just wanted to invite the lesbian translator from the church to come to a Bible study group, right? And I'm like, you know that she is officially the sign language translator for the church. He's like, yes, I know that, but that doesn't mean that the church is okay with lesbianism. And as I talked to other pastors and other people in the church, I realized that,
Don't say we smoke in that Bible pack. Shut up.
they were fine with her being there to sign
My
on
God,
Sundays, but they
stop.
also believed that she was a sinner and that she was going to hell. And I'm sitting there in that class just thinking of all of these special needs foster kids that they were sheltering and nurturing and providing lives for. And I knew that what this church, what the Bible, what Christians were teaching about homosexuality was just wrong. A few weeks later, members of this Christian congregation would also treat myself and my family and my teenage son
Also, yeah, lesbian translator. Sorry, I don't speak lesbian. It's crazy.
in really cruel, horrible ways. And when I stepped away from the group, I had people going out of their way to attack me for stepping away from Christianity. Like literal face-to-face conversations with people that I ran into around town, because I live in a relatively small town, about how I was literally going to hell and taking my kids with. I started to really pay attention during that time span to where I felt peace and where I saw people who were emotionally healthy, who were kind and supportive and empathetic, who were exhibiting behaviors that reflected the values that I felt were important. And then not long after that, we came into this like pre-campaign era in the presidential race. And I turned on my Fox News like I always had, and I started listening to Donald Trump, and I still got a bunch of Maga newsletters and my emails and things like that. And I started really reading them because, yeah, the church isn't true. And I wasn't married anymore. And my whole life had turned upside down. And I was no longer Christian. And the Bible, and like, am I going to see my grandma when I die? Like, I was plunged into this nihilistic void and had such a loss of identity. But I was still rooted in the Republican Party, right? Like, we were the good guys. And then I started reading the newsletters and stuff. And it's like, oh my God. This isn't the person that I want to be. This is certainly the person that I used to be, but I can't vote for Donald Trump. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had like that boyfriend that you were in love with, or somebody that was like a role model to you, and then it turns out that they're a creep. Like for me in my childhood, Bill Cosby was a really big deal because I grew up with the Huxtables, and when it turned out that he had been such an abuser of women, that was really hard for me to grapple with, to see that role model fall from grace. That is how I felt about the Republican Party, and especially about Donald Trump. And I think in a lot of ways it was so hard for me because then I had to look at myself and realize, oh my God, I was one of these people until like literally like 10 minutes ago. And no, I'm not. So who am I? And what do I even do? In a lot of ways, leaving MAGA, I can't even talk, and leaving the Republican Party was harder than the end of my 24-year marriage, and realizing that my ex-husband had this double life and that he was a jerk, and that I hadn't even like known half of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. And then like, well, now what, am I just going to be alone for the rest of my life? Because it's really hard to picture a future outside of who you've been and who you've been with. And obviously we don't have a crystal ball, so stepping away from the Republican Party was terrifying to me, because then it's like, but the Democrats, they're like, they're on the wrong side of everything, right? I had always believed that they were the evil people. They were murdering babies. So I was kind of like, maybe I'm just going to be nothing. I started volunteering for the RFK campaign for a little bit because that was kind of a neutral ground for me. But then, I don't know, he wasn't going to win and his stuff was just getting wilder and wilder. And so what I did one day was I just sat down with the computer. I had a couple of hours and I started looking at the actual platforms of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And I realized, first of all, I don't care about parties and I don't care that much about nationalism, patriotism, things like that, because at this point in my life, I'm so concerned about just other humans that being American or Chinese or Mexican or whatever mean very little to me. I feel like political parties are just a means to an end so that we can have cohesive civilizations with some sort of rules. I always say that I'm an anarchist, and I mean that deeply. If an asteroid hit us tomorrow, only a few of us remained, and we returned to just tribalism, that'd be fine with me. Anyway, as I started to read through what the Democratic Party stood for, I realized this stuff aligns a lot with me, and I really don't support unfettered capitalism either.
Oh my god. Paste comrade. Wait a minute. Wait.
Not just political parties. I didn't align with the Republicans economically. I don't believe in trickle-down economics. All the data shows that it's caused a lot of problems.
Correct. Real. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry, really quickly. I have to do this every time. I don't care. This bit will never get old to me.
I realized this stuff aligns a lot with me, and I really don't support unfettered capitalism either. It's not just political parties. I didn't align with the Republican economically. I don't believe in trickle-down economics. All the data shows that it caused a lot of problems for us. That was really a hard reckoning too, because I had a lot of money. We had been business owners, and I had been really opposed to any type of social systems. I always thought my husband works really hard for our money. Why does he have to pay taxes to pay for some loser who's too lazy to go out and get a job? That's on them. But I'm a different person now. So the presidential election happens, and I go into a booth and vote for...
Anyways, you remember when I said it's easier to convince these people because they have to disavow everything? Like, the process of releasing yourself from religion, releasing yourself from, in this case, Mormonism, Christianity, and then your political party, you were doing such a full rejection of everything that you've believed in that you are at the point where you are willing to question everything. Hogism, if you will, yeah. Whereas, like, liberals are so hard to talk to because it's almost like because you only have to shift them a little, you don't. You have to shift their opinion about political position, or sorry, the economic system we live under. Because on certain social issues or on a good number of progressive social issues, they're already correct. Like, gay people should be allowed to live. Trans people should be allowed to live. They think that they know everything and they don't have to ever reject fully their system. So it's so much harder. Whereas when you're at the point where you gave up Mormonism, you went to Christianity, you have to give up Christianity, you have to give up your marriage, you have to give up your political party. You're willing to question literally everything at that point.
Kamala Harris, a mixed-race female Democrat who supports abortion and gay rights. It was so wild. Like, I had this out-of-body experience. And then the summer, that town hall happened, and I just told Kevin, I just want to go. I want to see what this is all about. I feel like I really align with the Democratic Party. And I love Gabby Giffords. She was actually shot just a couple of miles away from where I'm sitting right now. And that was a tragedy that impacted our entire community. And I went to that town hall, and I have never felt more aligned with a group of people in my entire life. And not because somebody told me that I should be, and that's what I'm supposed to believe in, but adult me, my 51-year-old self, who has critically thought and had therapy and listened to my own inner voice and knows the things that I value. What I found in that town hall that night was a group of other people who value the same things that I value. I know this video is long and full of tears. I just wanted to point out a couple of the challenges.
Also, let me just say, holy shit, dude, making that change at 50 or like in your 40s to 50 is crazy. Because I will say that, like, there are a lot of people that the longer you go in your life with certain positions, the harder it becomes to convince you out of them because you've spent so long believing in them. It's never impossible, but something dramatic has to happen in your life for you to start making big changes. It's just like you've just grown your roots in so much deeper into that position that it's going to take a lot more work to like repot you, especially on foundational beliefs. Yeah. Oh.
That I faced in transitioning my political identity. First of all, I have been raised in a system where there's always charismatic leaders that are extremely strong. And it was really confusing being in this last election and seeing that the Democratic Party is completely unraveling. And Joe Biden was so old that there wasn't a snowball's chance in hell that I wanted to vote for him. I actually considered moving to Canada or Mexico and just taking my kids and my family away. I've carefully researched other nations across the world that might be a better fit for us. But I have a grandbaby and I have so many people that I love here. And I think that the lack of strong leadership has been the greatest challenge for me. By the way, Gavin Newsom, if you're watching, please respond to the emails that I've sent you. I've talked to a bunch of other senators since I last said that on my last video. Newsom, I would like to volunteer my services as an influencer and as somebody who has keen insight into the MAGA party.
Gavin Newsom, please respond. Honestly, I gotta respect that. I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle. But so stick with me for a second, chat. This is what I mean when I say, like, going again, I'm gonna repeat this for like hopefully the last time, so I'm not like a fucking broken record. Someone who's disavowed system after system after system after system that they've believed in for so long is down to do it one more time. She's like, in my opinion, she has the capacity to go one more time and be like, oh man, wait, Gavin Newsom isn't that great either on these things that matter. And we should be kind to these people. Okay, he's good on these things. He's just not good on these things and these things. She's got one more in her, bro. She got it. She's still evolving. She just stopped being a MAGA a year ago. Yeah. How do I find this vid? Oh, it's just exclamation point video. I think one of the mods put it in.
Party and Christian nationalism and Mormonism to you, should you happen to run for president. So
also, dropping religion and Mormonism especially is not easy because it means you have to give up, especially if you are well integrated in your community, it means you have to give up all your friends and family. Like, it is not an easy thing to do. If you can do that, you can do anything.
I am volunteering. I think the second greatest challenge has been just being the enemy to all of the people that were formerly my community. My entire family has shunned me. I have almost no remaining friends because those who were Mormon didn't want me in their life because I'm an apostate. And those who were MAGA and preppers and Christian nationalists and all of that obviously no longer want me in their life because I'm a Benedict Arnold. I am a woke, liberal, feminist, atheist who talks about everything online. So I've lost all of my community, and that's been an extreme
I swear I didn't pre-watch this video.
challenge. The third scariest thing about all of this has been realizing that my former party is now in charge of the country, and that has
Let it be known.
caused me so much anxiety. And it's one of the things, honestly, that prompts me to use my voice online every day like I do. Like, I left the Republican Party, I left MAGA, I left Christian nationalism and all of that. And now they're the guys in charge, and I know them intimately from the inside out. I have firsthand experience into how their twisted little brains work and the hatred that prompts everything that they do. And it terrifies me to see what's happened just in the first little bit of Donald Trump's presidency. It's not like I left MAGA behind and became a Democrat and now we have, like Barack Obama or somebody in charge. I'm scared. I'm scared because I know them. And I know them because I was them. I guess I should share some benefits. The first one is just that feeling of authenticity that I have. Like, I am aligned with my core. I'm not just following the prophet. I'm not just following my group around me. I'm living the most aligned and congruous life that I've ever lived before. And if I had to wait until age 49 to do that, worth it. Because I think that some people go their whole lives without actually living authentically. And in addition to the authenticity, I have so much peace and connection and love for the people around me that I never had before. My life is no longer based on hate and fear. And now that I'm no longer in a community that's based on hate and fear, I truly have the best relationships that I've ever had in my entire life. My partner, Kevin, is absolutely incredible. We've been together for almost 6.5 years
I'm so happy for you.
now. And while I have a very small circle of friends, the friends that I do have are some of the kindest, most amazing, most purpose-driven people that I've ever had in my entire life. And thankfully, I am rebuilding my own personal identity bit by bit. And I have to say that I'm actually happy with who I am now. Lastly, I took in a lot of people who still say that I look like I could be on Fox News, and why do I still look like the Mormon girl in Maga? That's how I'm comfortable, and it wouldn't be authentic for me if I like dyed my hair purple, or I did a nose ring for a while. It didn't work. I might tattoo my hands here coming up soon. I just don't have the money. Maybe if my whole life take two had happened when I was in like my 20s and 30s, then I wouldn't still look so MAGA Mormon-y. But you guys, I'm 51. Like, I don't really want to change my whole appearance. And I am blonde. I am Scandinavian, German, British. This is just who I am. I want to end with this final thought. On my Life Take Two podcast, when I have people on to interview, I ask them...
She's 51, holy shit. Well, yeah, she didn't get the Laura Loomer treatment because she's not a fucking Republican anymore. She gave her plastic surgery to Sydney Sweeney.
If you of today could go back to 19-year-old you and tell that person anything, what would you tell them? And I wish that 51-year-old Jenny could go back to 19-year-old Jenny and just tell her, use those critical thinking skills and look inside and see how things are making you feel. That's the key to everything. That day that I left the Mormon church, I stood there in the hallway after I left that class, and I thought to myself, if this was the first time that I'd ever come to this church and I didn't have 44 years invested in it, would I want to come a second week? And the answer was no. I wish that 19-year-old me had been able to assess the things around me and really see the impact that they were having on myself and others, because it would have changed the course of my life completely. And I want to end this with a call to action for anybody who's still listening. Having been part of this movement, I know that these people will stop at nothing to fulfill their purposes. They believe that God is on their side, and they crave power in ways that most people would never even dream of. We have to fight. We have to fight at the polls. It's time for good people to decide to run for office. We need an army of politicians ready to step into public service. If you're not ready to do that, start financially supporting good politicians around, even contributing just a little bit of money to campaigns.
Let's fucking go!
Speak up, speak out, do all that you can. We have to get power away from these people, or we are literally stepping into the handmaid's tale. That was my personal fantasy as a Mormon. I wanted an American theocracy, and I saw that potentially happening with Mitt Romney, and then it didn't. All right. That's it.
So
I'm gonna
scary.
drink some water and take a nap.
I'm
I
pooping,
will
let's
be
go!
cruising through the comments a little bit in this one. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.
You are so cute. You are such a cute mealworm. Oh, mealworm. Isn't he the cutest? Isn't he the cutest little worm? He just wants his scratchies so bad. Oh, some scratchies, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. You're so cute. You're a legally cute meerkat. I will eat you. Inshallah, he shall be baked. A lick. Oh, thank you for the lick, meerkat. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for the kissy. I don't know why. He's kind of a freak. Where he really likes me to be aggressive with my scratches. I just have to like really, really get in there. I think he has like a double coat, which is probably why he really likes like these firm scratches. Whereas with Wormy, I'm like so soft with her. Oh yeah, come here, Worm. You got something in your eye.